Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
It's time for another episode of All Politics Are Local with your host, Barry D.
That's right. It's time for another All Politics Are Local show, so stick around for an hour or so and feel smarter by the minute.
A simple job for simple people.
You got that right. Today's show comes directly from Chester County's only AM and FM radio station, located on the 17th floor of the WCHE Studios corporate building at 105 West Gay Street in Westchester, in the center of Chester County. We are just 10 miles from the Clock Guy, located in Chester Springs, specializing in clock repair and sensitive restoration of antique timepieces. Russ Buckley, the Clock Guy, is a former surgical physician assistant who transferred his surgical skills to the clock world. Now, he's no longer repairing small clocks such as cuckoo and mantle clocks, but he does repair and make house calls for tall grandfather and grandmother clocks. You know, over time, dust accumulates, existing lubricants thicken and become gooey and will cause the clock to stop. Gears can rust through moisture variants, bushings wear down from lack of lubrication, and perhaps the clock runs, but the chimes you love to hear throughout your house won't ring anymore. Any number of clock problems may arise, and your precious timepiece is just out of luck. With unforeseen circumstances befall you, or befall your clock, your antique clock, that Clock Guy is prepared to get to the bottom of the problem, get it up and running like no, all the while maintaining your clock's beautiful antique appearance. And you know, the Clock Guy will also repair and restore your new and vintage quartz movement clocks. And again, Russ is no longer repairing small clocks, but he does make the house calls for tall grandfather and grandmother clocks. Stop by his website, www.theclockguy.net, for more information on how to contact the Clock Guy. There's another shameless plug for one of the local businesses. Well, sadly, you're stuck with me for the next hour.
Are you kidding me?
Nope, suck it up there, Buttercup. Let me tell you what I have today. Today, my Real Men of Genius commercial, as usual. Can you believe I have that many of them? We are cranking those things out. Anyway, Carla is off again this week, but I do have 5 minutes with Jack, of which I never know what direction he's going to go, but I'm sure it's going to be informative.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
I think that's an insight into what the subject matter is actually about. And Tom Helwig is in. He hasn't been in for a month now, and he always comes in monthly to give us updates on what's going on over on the other side of the world. That would include, let's see, Russia, Ukraine, Iran, and it's always a murky mess, but he's here to clean it up for us.
Exactly right.
You know, even Sam Elliott agrees with us on that one. At the controls today, piloting this show out over the airwaves, is the legend of the current Westchester radio, the controller of WCHE Meta and the Atmospheric Universe, the one, the only Eric Clambaro.
Oh, righty then.
You know, it's that time of the show where we travel back in time to a simpler time, where poking fun of people didn't mean that there was going to be a lawsuit by a group of people representing a different class of people that could have been offended by what you said, even though they had no knowledge of what you said.
Surely you can't be serious.
Surely I am, and stop calling me Shirley. Seriously, today people are searching under every rock to be offended, or are busy protecting people from being offended who aren't really offended. So what I propose is that we jump into the WCHE time machine, and we head back over 2 decades, back to when Bud Light marketed to customers that purchased their product instead of marketing to people that would never purchase their product. Back when they thought growing a company and making more jobs was far more important than selling you on a social message that didn't pay anyone's salary. So let's go back to a happier time when logic had its place in the world.
Bud Light presents Real Men of Genius.
Real Men of Genius.
Today we salute you, Mr. SUV Super Stretch Limo Maker.
Mr. SUV Super Stretch Limo Maker.
You've solved an automaker's greatest dilemma: how to get 13 bridesmaids to a quaint ceremony at the top of Mount Kilimanjaro.
Here comes the bride!
Soft, supple leather seats, so your guests will be comfortable whiling away the hours spent waiting at the gas pump.
Be sure to get some jerky.
9 TVs, 7 moonroofs, and a hot tub. The only thing you don't have, a 95-foot parking space.
I'll keep circling.
So crack open an ice cold Bud Light, oh sire of the stretch, because when it comes to impressing us, there's no length you won't go to. Bud Light Beer, Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
That was so long, he actually went into the outro of that whole commercial. I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to come back with 5 Minutes with Jack.
Barry D is back with All Politics Are Local.
You know, since I have no monologue this week, we're just going to jump right into 5 Minutes with Jack. Good morning, Jack.
Barry, good morning to you, sir. How you doing, my friend?
If I was any better, I'd be you.
Ah, there we go.
What's happening? What's hot? What's going on?
Barry, I just wanted to bring you and the listeners a little bit north and west of the great Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to the great state of Wisconsin.
I thought it was Minnesota.
Whatever. One and the same. Same.
Yeah, whatever.
Same. Nobody really cares.
Yeah, right.
Pretty much just one and the same.
Fair enough.
So, you know, there was a gubernatorial.
You mean gubernatorial?
Thank you, Barry.
There you go. I'm here for you.
Hey, you know, it's easy for you to say. So we had a governor's race, and it came down to the wire, Barry. Very close race.
Yeah.
Between Francesca Hong, the favorite, and the dark horse that came out of nowhere to win the race by less than 0.5%. Former county executive David Crowley, also known as Urkel.
Yeah, he does look like Urkel, doesn't he? You know, he looks kind of like, looks a little bit like Eddie Murphy, too, but more Urkel with those glasses. I've seen pictures of him.
Certainly got the Urkel vibe.
Yeah. When he won, did he go, did I do that?
That would have been great if he'd done that.
So anyway.
So in the 11th hour, Crowley pulled it out because, you know, sometimes it becomes very complex to actually count the votes. Anyone can cast a vote, Barry, but it takes some skill set to actually count the votes.
Sometimes you have to count them over and over again till the person you want to win.
That might have been the case here, Barry.
Yeah.
That might have been the case here in the 11th
What makes you
hour.
say that? What makes you say that, Jack?
Well, apparently 9 USBs with all the information, the voting information from the various counties arrived for inspection, and 5 out of the 9 were blank. So, of course, we had to immediately take action and figure out what went wrong. What
went wrong?
Well, it was later determined by Miss Paulina Gutierrez, running the election, said that there was human error. You know, we're human, Barry. We all make mistakes. So that was her bona fide statement.
Wait a minute.
Wrong.
I'm starting to get suspicious. Is that like a pseudonym for what was her name again?
Paulina Gutierrez.
That sounds like a good cover name for Karen Bar.
It's one and the same. When you translate it, that's what it means.
Look, I thought we had enough of that in Chester County. You mean there's other places just as screwed up in voter services as us?
Apparently, you know, there's a big time lag between the voter services are working and not working. There's a tremendous time lag, and then you're given a recipe on what needs to take place on the day of voting. Mm-hmm. You know, it's kind of a checkbox. You know, you read one, you do that, and then you move on to the next one. There's not a lot of complication to it, and it's not dynamic. It's static. These are the rules. This is what you do, and once you finish step 1, you move to step 2, and so on.
Right.
Apparently, that was lost in the process.
So what happened with these USBs? What'd you say, they were blank?
They were blank, so they went back to the individual counties and made them unblank.
So each USB is a different precinct, I'm guessing.
That's correct.
So there were 5 different individuals screwed up the same thing.
All in the 11th hour to give our man Urkel the win by less than 0.5%.
I don't know. This screams of Chicago. But here's something weird. Here's something. Maybe you can answer this for me because I'm not really tuned into this. Hong, what's the story with her? She was in the legislature and now she's running for governor, and this is Democrats running against each other for who's going to be the gubernatorial candidate, right?
Well, I just need to correct you on one thing. It was a communist against a Democrat. That was basically the show.
No, Democrat Socialist of America. It's socialist, Jack.
That's exactly what I said, communist.
Yeah, well, but that's not what they're advertising.
Yes, communist.
There you go. So did she do anything? Let me think how I want to frame this. I heard that she fell out of favor. What has she done?
Oh, Barry, she kind of did it to herself. She self-destructed. So in the preceding weeks, probably 2 weeks before, she gained national notoriety by having a specific platform saying that she wanted to abolish Thanksgiving. And
who abolishes Thanksgiving and thinks they get away with that?
I don't know. I mean, I can understand if you want to abolish, like, cranberry. I get that.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you on that.
But to get rid of the entire holiday, and keep in mind, Barry, this is Wisconsin, and Wisconsin doesn't have a lot, but the one thing that they do have is the Green Bay Packers, and they play on Thanksgiving. So you probably alienated a lot of your potential voters by saying, we can't have that anymore.
Because then it would just be Thursday, right? It would not be Thanksgiving.
Right.
And everybody be at work, so nobody get to watch the Packers play.
That's exactly right. So the interesting thing is Urkel, also known as David Crowley, had dropped out back in July because there was no chance for him to win.
So wait a second. So you're telling me a guy that quit gets pulled back in and miraculously wins against the favorite?
Just like that. It happens every day, Barry.
There's nothing suspicious about this whatsoever.
Nothing to see here. Please move on.
Listen, if the people want Hong, they should have been able to have Hong.
If you want communism, you should be able to vote for communism.
That's right.
Well, wait a minute.
By the way, you can't vote it out, but you can certainly vote it in, by the way.
Wait, Barry, wasn't it Lenin that said it doesn't matter who votes, it only matters who counts the votes?
No, that was Stalin.
Oh, Lenin, Stalin, again, one and the same.
Well, Stalin killed more of his own people than Lenin, so, you know. There was
some competition there, right?
And they were his own supporters. Stalin liked this. If you helped Stalin get to power, then he killed you because you knew too much. So that's a guy you got to admire, right?
I don't think I should be laughing at that.
Yeah, no, but it's still kind of ironic, isn't it?
It certainly is. Yeah. Much like the irony between socialism and communism.
Yes. So let me get this right. So Urkel, whose real name is what again?
Crowley
won by the less than 1% or whatever it was, but he had quit and he came back in. So he was helped by the fact that she said stupid things like, "I want to get rid of Thanksgiving."
Yes,
and
defund the police.
And defund the police. Okay, so people that's so yesterday. Nobody wants to advertise that they want to defund the police anymore. Oh, wait a minute, except for Mandami. But no, then he even said he loves the police. So, because that's a bridge too far. So now we have this guy Crowley. He's running, wasn't running, now he's running. Now he's catching up ground. And then miraculously, there's missing votes. So that buys time to make sure that the votes go the right way.
Exactly.
Now, I just wanted to make sure I painted the picture for everybody because that sounds miraculous to me.
I think that's a good enough adjective to use, miraculous.
Yeah, it really does. I mean, that's pretty crazy. And again, it sounds. Look, do I want a communist in there? No. It's even though it's on my state, I don't want that. But let me add to that. that Wisconsin has always been referred to as a red state. And in fact, during the Depression, they had either a communist or socialist mayor in Milwaukee back in like 1932. So it kind of runs in there. And they used to call it the red state before red became a Republican thing, because the Democrats didn't want red associated with Democrats, even though there are certain people, not myself, but there are certain people that consider them to be red influenced. But it used to be called the red state, because they had such socialist or communist leanings. So it's in their blood. So it doesn't surprise me that she won. What surprises me is that miraculously she didn't win. And that, to me, smells like the Democrat Party pulled a stunt and manipulated the votes. And I cannot prove it, but it doesn't sound right.
No, Barry, and as we started the conversation, it's like you culminate a team, and the team's primary objective is for a specific day to take place. So everyone is rehearsed, everyone knows what they do, what they're supposed to do, when they're supposed to do it, infinitum. And then the day comes that you're there to execute, and then you just blow it off as, human error.
Yeah, well, that's a funny thing. That's, again, going back to our own voter services, which, by the way, they have a new leader, either coming in or has come in. Her last job was working for USAID. So I'm going to be really interested in watching that performance.
Okay. Well, there's certainly some experience on how to avoid obstacles, shall we say.
Yeah, it's interesting because I understand, and I could be wrong, one of her jobs was to oversee elections in Mozambique. So I'm sure overseeing elections in the United States is pretty much like Mozambique at this point.
Those guys in Mozambique can run circles around what took place in Milwaukee.
Apparently so. Apparently so. But listen, I don't like the idea of the whole USB thumb drive to begin with. And I think a lot of people are uncomfortable with that. I don't think it's a good idea. I think it's bad. I just don't. Look, I would just as soon as be back to the whole paper ballot tallying thing with the little electric eye that counts the light as you put it in, and then you get your counts at the end of the night. That is by far the most accurate. It's untamperable, right? Because it's just the eye counting it. It's done. Unless they set up a program to make it read, the Democrat side to read like a Republican or vice versa. Yeah,
there's always software that needs to interpret what the electric eye has scanned.
But that's a very easy thing to spot when you look at the software. Some of this stuff is hidden in lines of code someplace that could do other things. And they've proven it. It's happened in some places where things have been tampered with. So I still like just put in the paper ballot, take the tally out at the end of the night, go, here it is. And if they want to recount it, they recount it. Here's all your ballots. You just go ahead and recount.
Well, Barry, I can't imagine there's a single listener this morning that would disagree that a paper ballot is superior to any other form of voting.
I would think too, but then there's also people that bought AMC Pacers.
Good point.
So, yeah. So,
and those that invested in Betamax. I mean, we have those as well.
That's right.
Oh, I might have just aged myself there, Barry.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But Betamax was better. That was actually because they didn't want to have an open platform to it. They wanted it to be strictly proprietary. And so Sony lost on that. That was the problem, because it wasn't able to be a shared program, a shared platform. Little trivia for you on that. I didn't know if you knew that or not.
That was good, Barry, and we might need to go back in the Wayback Machine and explain VHS, Betamax, CD.
Yeah.
And now we don't care about any of those.
And movies in the classroom with music that went something like this. Remember that?
Certainly do. Certainly do. Oh, and we might have left out DAT, digital audio tape. Was that
that
little medium for a moment in time.
It did actually well in Japan, but it never made it over here because then the CD took over so quickly.
Yep.
Yeah, that was it. Anyway, back to Crowley, Cromwell, Urkel, whatever.
Urkel works.
So
I think if anyone looks at his picture, they'll say, "Oh yeah, that's Urkel."
So he's probably going to be the shoe-in, right? Because I mean, when are they going to? Well, no, that's not true because they had Scott. What's his name? Was the mayor or not the governor in there? Scott something. I forget what his name was now. Scott. He went on to become a representative or a senator or something. God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank as well.
Yeah, I just cannot remember his name now, unfortunately. But he was a Republican that won. That was an amazing thing that a Republican won there because, again, it's a fairly Democrat, socialist, communist state, and it has a history of it. And so I would expect that you're looking at, with this guy Crowley's going to be the next governor of Wisconsin.
It could be, Barry, but I did want to add one final note to what actually took place, which was identified as human error, and it was simply this.
Yeah.
The Election Commission of Milwaukee said that these multiple precincts made a mistake in which they downloaded the audit log rather than the election results.
You would think when they looked on the display, one said audit log and the other said election results.
How big are these files, Barry? Why not just copy both?
Right? And go here.
It's not hard. It's not hard. Everyone listening knows how easy it is to just copy them all. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
Hey, it's better to have too much information on the stick than not enough, right?
And Jack, that's data. It's not even audio. It's certainly not video. It's data. Data like that takes up no space at all. It's just text. That's
all it is. That's all it is.
It's unbelievable.
Barry, we are human, and we need to understand when we're human, humans make errors. Thus the term human error.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, somebody needs some reschooling. When it was 5 out of 9 or whatever it was,
5 out of 9 were
over
blank.
50% of the people screwed up. Why is that? How is that possible? Now they'll have an investigation in the county. It'll cost the taxpayers $100,000 to figure out that it had to do with stupid people. I don't know. Or maybe it was just supposed to look that way. I will tell you one thing, Jack, we're never going to know the end result. What we have here is the end. It will not be talked about again ever anywhere. It's over.
Much like a flood in the middle of the night in an arena that's nowhere near the counting room. We got to close this down. Sorry. We got a flood over here.
Yeah,
everyone's got to be evacuated.
Yes, that's right. That's what it comes down to. I can't help but say I smell a rat, and I cannot. And besides that, I cannot believe that I'm defending somebody like Hong, who's a socialist.
You mean communist?
Whatever.
Yeah.
On that note, Jack, I think we've beat this dead horse.
Always a pleasure, my friend. And go Karen, wherever she might be.
Wherever she may be. We'll talk next week, man. Thanks.
Take care, my friend.
See ya. Bye-bye. Let's take a break, and I'll be back with Tom Helwig, who's going to be giving us updates on Russia, Ukraine, and some other hot spots on the other side of the world.
Barry D is back with All Politics Are Local.
Up next is Tom Helwig. He's been on several times before. His CV covers a breadth of experience in several different fields. And for the most part of the prior decade, he was overseas, working in the Middle East, and his job sometimes involved sending him to hotbeds of activity.
Secret agent man, secret agent man, they've given you a number and taken away your name.
Tom, thanks for coming on today. It's good to see you again. This is becoming a monthly thing for you.
Yes, it is. The world is evolving.
It is evolving. Well, your specialty is kind of Russia, Ukraine. That's above all. I mean, you have many other locations that you've been to, but let's talk about that. What's going on? It seems to me like Russia's really having a bad go of it these days.
They've actually figured out they're in a war.
Yeah. Well,
it's interesting.
They figured it was going to be a weekend thing. They did the same thing with Afghanistan.
Yeah, that didn't work out either.
That didn't work out so well. No. They had to. That was their Korea. That was
ultimately it didn't work out for us either.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, in the end, it bit us.
Yeah.
You know what's the rule over there in the Muslim world? The enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Or in this case, the enemy is everyone but me.
That's right. Exactly. So what's been up to date? I know you just had some relations that just headed back to Ukraine. They were here for like a month. And then they headed back.
Yeah, the family was here. They went back to Kiev, I guess about 3 days ago. Because they're actually related to me, so they decided they'd go someplace where bombs are exploding.
Well, yeah, that's all good. Most people that get to know you do the same thing. Anyway, sometimes it's just safer to be away from you, Helwig.
Yeah.
So what do you got? What's been happening over there?
Well, the Ukrainians have modified their target list, and they went after naval vessels, mostly oil tankers, but some others, bulk carriers and things like that, in the Sea of Azov. And they've actually hit 218 vessels. And if you look at ship tracker and stuff like that,
the ship is there, then it's gone?
There's nothing there anymore. The place is like emptied out, and it's like, they hit 134 ships in the Sea of Azov, 84 ships in the Black Sea, and 3 in the Caspian Sea. And the ones in the Caspian Sea were military ships, by and large, and they made some of those. They didn't make them go away completely, but they're pretty much burned out hulks now.
I got to tell you, I love Ship Tracker. Yeah. I was shipping some equipment over to New Zealand one time, and I didn't want to pay for the full version, but I was able to watch it in different areas when it came in close, right? So I watched it, saw it go down through the Panama Canal, then it disappeared again, then it popped up again, and then I watched the ship park when it got to Auckland. You saw it going in and jockeying around the whole bit. You see it actually jockeying around place.
I was down there in Panama. When Mr. Noriega was removed.
Yeah, I
chaotic.
I remember that.
Yeah, now he's got a nice 9x12 or whatever it is, 5x9.
Yeah,
down there, federal prison.
Yeah, you've been.
Maybe he's
going
to move him in with Maduro.
Yeah, right. They can be roommates. They got a lot to talk about. They speak the same language.
So the net result of this stuff over there in the maritime world of the Caspian, the Azov Sea, is somehow over 75% of their shipping is just non-existent anymore.
And
they actually had to suspend operations over there, which is a big beat down on them monetarily, and ultimately you're going to see here probably in the fall, springtime, there's going to be a food shortage that is driven out of all of this between the Russians hitting Ukrainian grain shipments and the Ukrainians hitting Russian grain shipments. The net result of that is people in Africa are probably going to starve to death, because most everywhere else in the world, if there's a grain shortage, what do?
Right.
Add more money.
Right.
But at the end of the day, when the music stops, somebody's without a chair. And that's going to be the poor countries, mostly of Africa. So you can look for that in the future.
Because Ukraine was the breadbasket of Europe for wheat.
Oh, yes.
I mean, huge, massive.
Unbelievable.
I remember you talking about the farms there.
Yeah, it's
like going to Saskatchewan or something.
Mind you, I've been up to Alberta many times. I have long lost relatives that own a ginormous wheat farm up there. So I'm used to seeing some pretty big fields. Here in Pennsylvania, we think like 60, 80 acres is a big deal.
Right.
You get out to the Midwest and Canada and such like that, you talk thousands of acres. Well, over in Ukraine, southern Russia, it's a whole different mindset. You don't have farmhouses on the farm. It's just a complete giant never-ending field. And the people that run that live in little cities, little villages.
And then commute.
Yeah, and then they commute, yeah.
Probably on the buses. Everybody on the bus. We got to go to work at the farm.
Speaking of that, shocking things that we know. The Russian Ministry of Defense has repeatedly lied about taking Ukraine territory in 2026. Yeah, I know, it's a shocker that they wouldn't be telling the truth about that. They've actually been losing territory more than they've been gaining it over in Ukraine throughout the year. So that's an interesting thing. But yet they run a guy out there with a flag into a city. Somehow he gets there and they take a picture and they go, "Look, we've taken this." It's like, not exactly. Yeah, not how it works. There's also a severe new wave of fuel shortages that hit Russia, triggered by an ongoing, continuing, never-ending Ukrainian attack on the oil infrastructure, mostly the refineries. So, ironically, like one of the large oil producers of the world is now without distilled petroleum products.
Right.
Which is making for some really interesting videos that you can watch online. You can go online and look at the Russian gas lines. Yeah, they're pretty amusing, actually. They stretch for miles, and people sometimes get a little angry.
Fist fights?
Yeah, a little bit.
Crowbars?
Here and there, yeah. Whoops. Yeah, imagine you're in line for like a day plus, and you get up to the pump, and somehow you're lucky enough to actually get to the pump, and there's actually fuel there, and you're allowed to have some, and you get 20 liters.
Yeah, it's 20 liters, 5 gallons.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Yeah.
And you just waited in line like a whole day for that.
Right.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, and we used to complain about that with the gas shortage in 1979, 1980, remember? And you waited in line, and you got $5.
Lived through
and it was
that.
$1 and a quarter a gallon.
Odd and even plates.
Right.
So Ukraine has decided to diversify away from the strikes on the oil infrastructure, and now they've gone after the equivalent of a company called Wildberries, which is the Russian equivalent of Amazon here in this country. And, Amazon has these huge warehouses all over. I mean, they're ginormous. The same model over there in Russia. These are basically a dropship type of operation.
Yeah, they told me they invented it.
Yeah, we had rented it in Russia.
That's right.
Yeah.
Amazon copied it.
Well, the Ukrainians have decided...
they say that about Facebook.
Yeah, they decided that they were going to attack these because apparently on the Russian version of Amazon, you can order some pretty strange things, like hand grenades, rifles, drones, mortar shells. Oh, yeah. Absolutely, it's right on their website.
I would like to order that.
So
how come I don't have it?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Why am I so? I'm supposed to be here in the land of freedom. Why can't I order my box of hand grenades? What's up with that? I mean, really, you're deprived here.
It's like the old Sears robot catalog. We
used to
guns
have,
out of
have shotguns and stuff. Yeah, those days are over. Yeah, thanks to 1963.
Yeah, thanks.
So.
Yeah. Anywho.
So at any rate, they've torched with drone attacks like somewhere between 25 and 33% of the warehouse storage.
Right.
Wiped out, gone. And it's the darndest thing you've ever seen. I understand when you put a drone into a oil refinery or a storage area, I expect, if it goes off, it's going to start burning stuff because, like, gasoline is flammable.
Right.
Who would imagine that?
Right.
Well, apparently, these Wildberry warehouses are more flammable than gasoline storage.
Because they happen to have explosives in them?
No, they don't. You mean they have explosives inside there?
Yeah, hand
grenades inside? I can't believe that. So at any rate...
No fire company's showing up to put that building out.
Oh, no, they actually do. But
no way.
Yeah, they show up. And it's just like... The problem is, like, you ordered something. Imagine you ordered something for Amazon, and it's like 25-30% of the chances they ain't coming because it got torched in the warehouse.
But they got your credit card.
And, yeah, you're not getting your money back.
Call the Russian credit card company up. I'd like a charge back.
No.
Yet.
And the knock-on effect also is like you're worried about, hey, look, I'm worried about my particular thing that I ordered.
Right.
But now let us look from the other end of the spectrum. You're the person who has a drop ship company through Wildberries. So it isn't like a shipment's gone. They're all gone.
They're all gone.
They're burned. And Wildberries put out a little thing. It's like, it happened like in war, and like we're not covering you. You're just out the money.
Right.
So this has had a knock-on effect on Russian banking. Because now you've got all sorts of these entrepreneurs who are indeed bankrupt with no assets. Well, in addition...
Yeah, because they're holding them in the warehouse, and then they're delivering those.
Nobody's getting anything. It's just money that's gone. Millions and millions gone. So the banks are suffering now because of this. And while there's not a run on the bank, because people are getting nervous about this, there's not really a run on the bank per se, because Russia already came in and stopped that because people were already wanting to take all their money out of the bank. And they've limited, a couple of years back, they limited the amount of daily withdrawal you can make. But now they have another problem, because all the people who are ordering things online, well, that all didn't involve taking money out of the bank. It was a wire transfer type of thing, credit card transfer. Well, guess what? Now you got to shop locally. That takes cash.
And then you have to find the stores to do it.
But you don't have any cash because you can't withdraw the cash. So, yeah, we have a little banking issue in Russia now. The ruble is going to have to take a hit. They keep dumping money into it to stabilize it, but the pile of money is getting pretty thin.
Well, that's run a lot by petro rubles.
Well, you got that and foreign arms sales, which nobody wants to buy Russian stuff anymore to military. It doesn't work.
It doesn't work.
Everybody's been watching this going like, no, I think I got a better plan. I think I'm going to order up some Ukrainian drones.
Well, if you remember, who did India buy their ship? No, the Indians bought the ship from the Chinese.
No, the Indians bought an aircraft carrier from Russia.
From the Russia, and it was junk.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Just
but it was a bit. We were selling them one, and they went, "No, we can get a much better deal from the Russians."
Too much money for an American one, or a French one, or a British one.
Yeah,
we got such a deal from Russia, we can't say no.
Right?
Yeah. Well, imagine that. It was like decades behind schedule and billions over budget. And when they got it, it was a big pile of junk.
Yeah. Americans know better, except ours happens to be like at $5 below, and then when it doesn't work, you're like, "Well, I only spent $5 on it." But the Indians weren't happy when they said, "We just spent $1 billion on this and it doesn't work."
Yeah, well, that's the way it works.
Yeah, well, good luck with all that.
Buy the cheap one. See how
they should have learned when they looked at Lada.
Wow.
Yeah,
like buying well, we had to go through our learning curve there. We had to buy Yugos.
Yugos, right.
Yeah, Yugos.
Right.
I actually know a friend of mine who bought one of those things. Bought it for his wife. And that lasted about a month and a half. Yeah. About a month and a half in, it became his car because she wouldn't ride in it.
Well, it's a funny story about Yugos, because that was a failed platform from Fiat. Yeah. And then that was built by...
Well, that's where they got the Lada.
Yeah. Was it actually built by Lada, or was it built by somebody else? Because it was a Yugoslavian car.
But it was like a copy of a Fiat.
And that was a copy of the Fiat. I forget, the 131 or something like that. But anyway, the person that brought them into North America was Malcolm Bricklin. Malcolm Bricklin made his money off of bringing in a quirky car called Subaru, and he made so much money off of that. Then Subaru finally bought him out, and he said, "Well, I'll take that money." They said, "Listen, we can't keep paying you per car anymore. You're done." So Subaru North America, right over in Camden area there, they said, "Okay, well, you're done. We're paying you out." He paid him out. He takes his money. He goes, "I'll do it again with another quirky little car." Finds the Yugo, brings it over. They bring it to Canada to then take it to the warehouse to modify it for North American standards. Of the 50 cars that came off the ship, how many broke in the 25 miles going to the warehouse?
Oh, probably all of them.
All of them.
Yeah.
All of them broke before they got them to the warehouse.
There's no guest there.
Yes. So there's a little lesson for you on that. That's exactly it.
So let's go over to the Gulf.
I'll tell you what. So before we go to the Gulf and to the next section, being a capitalist society, we're going to pay some bills. See that?
Capitalism.
So yes, the register's ringing. So we need to get some advertising done, and then we'll be back, and then we'll jump over to the Gulf.
Barry D is back with All Politics Are Local.
We are back with Tom Helwig. We have jumped from the Russia-Ukraine situation over there, which has caused some instability in the world for a couple of years now. Now we're going to go to a happier place. I'm lying. We're going to go over to the Gulf and talk about what's happening over there with Iran.
Yeah, the never-ending saga of the Gulf over there in Arab land.
Yeah. Look, they're never going to negotiate. They're never going to agree. They're just stalling us. They're never, ever. You would have to burn the entire country down before they're going to stop.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah. I don't understand our policy. I got to admit, usually I'm up on this, and at least I understand. I may not agree with everything, but I do understand.
But the Iranian people really did want us doing this, but unfortunately, they're just not caving.
Well, it's a
shame because the very people that were depending upon us are now suffering.
Well, it's a train wreck over there for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
Saudi has exposure increases because now apparently the Bab el-Mandeb is back in play, which is the little strait that leads into the Red Sea that ends up in the Suez Canal. And the Houthis, our old friends the Houthis, are attacking shipping there, shutting everything down there.
Weren't they the people that ran into the coal? Were they Houthis?
Ran into the
SS Cole. USS Cool.
I
don't remember.
I don't recall all the details. So I have to look that up to see what it's been a while history. Ago. The problem. This is where I have to say. This is where we just refuse to learn our lessons, that we have to finish things up that we start. We went over there and we spent billions of U.S. tax dollars basically making sure Europe could get fuel through the Suez Canal, Operation Prosperity Guardian, I do believe, and we launched a bunch of missiles and things, made some air attacks on the Houthis over there in Yemen, and kind of backed them down finally from shutting down that transit corridor. Well, guess what? We didn't finish the job, and they're back, and now it's a problem.
Listen, when you give people hope, they'll always come back.
Well, not only that, but like the whole line there is like, we beat the Americans down, see, and we're going to do it again. It's like, okay. And that's the same situation we find ourselves in over there in the Gulf. Saudi Arabia has a high-level watch now because they're being attacked by Houthis. The UAE, the watch there is high because they're essentially cut off. They're a mere 40 miles away across the strait, launching things over there from time to time, drones and other missiles. Oman is high equally well. Bahrain is now on a severe watch, and Kuwait is on a severe watch for things because there's kinetic strikes being made on their country and their facilities, the dock facilities, the storage facilities, things like that. And once again, as I had mentioned earlier, a lack of wheat and grain products that are primarily going down to like places like Africa and otherwise. Well, guess what? There's a double hit on this coming, because not only do we get a lot of petroleum through the Gulf states over there, but what a lot of people don't understand is the byproduct of all that also is a lot of fertilizer. Fertilizer price even going up here in this country because of the global market. And we're just going to pay for when you go to the grocery store, we're just going to pay more.
Right.
But when you're in Africa, you can't pay more because you don't have anything to pay with anyhow.
Right. This probably wouldn't be such a problem if Zimbabwe didn't get taken over by Robert Mugabe years ago, where he said he was going to take all the farms from the white farmers and distribute them among other people so they could become farmers, and then he distributed it to all his friends, and everything just died. Nobody knew how to farm.
Well,
they took the people with
what?
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, imagine that. Farming is an actual skill.
And Zimbabwe was a breadbasket to the entire of Africa. They were so good at it. And one man, Robert Mugabe, destroyed the whole thing. And on top of that, when he died, the New York Times talked about what a wonderful statesman he was.
Yeah, beautiful.
It was unbelievable.
Well,
but the impact would not be the same had that not happened. But you know what? It sounded good, and they listened to the guy, and he said how he was going to redistribute the wealth, and he was going to do this and that. As a result, they lost their bank. In 2009, it went bankrupt. I used to give away $50 billion notes in my office as a gift to people when they'd come and use my business.
Just like the Weimar Republic.
Yeah, Brett, that's exactly it.
Just print more money.
Just print more money. That's right.
Well, we're going to come to that eventually, probably in Russia. I've been waiting for that. I watched the currency exchange rates, and they've been propping this up with the Sovereign Wealth Fund for years and years now, 4.5 years. And eventually,
the money's going to run out.
And then we're going to do what all of these totalitarian dictatorship type countries do. They just print more money. We saw that down in Venezuela, where the Bolivar, they had to knock off 6 zeros. It's like, yeah, I got my $110 million Bolivar note here. I'm going to go buy a loaf of bread, if I can find a loaf of bread.
If you can find a loaf of bread. I do have a question for you. Wahhabism, the radical arm of the Muslim religion in Saudi Arabia, it seems like they're kind of being quiet, though, aren't they?
Well, it's interesting. MBS, the de facto leader of Saudi Arabia, has made a shift away from a lot of that. And it's very interesting. I watched the evolution of Saudi Arabia. They are becoming more and more westernized. It's at a very almost a glacial level, but you have to understand there was zero. So now we have movement. Women got the right to drive vehicles here with a few years back.
Did they really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
I don't know that there's so many of them actually doing it, but that's actually a thing now.
That's probably safer for the roads.
They actually are looking. They've looked over at the UAE and they went like, hey,
they seem to be doing okay.
Why don't we build a vacation pleasure land and a travel hub and like, you know,
happy faces are better than miserable faces.
Yeah, and it's like we can all like get filthy rich, you know, it's all good here. And they are opening up beaches and stuff like that over there. And I'm not sure, I haven't been following, I just haven't had the bandwidth to follow on the line. They decided they're going to build this huge city, which was laid out in a linear fashion. And now that the whole Gulf is unraveled with what's going on, that's all slowed right down. But they were going to build this megalopolis, and it was all forward looking and forward thinking and stuff like that. There was a lot of Western investment and things in there,
and they're 10% cheaper than the UAE. Come to Saudi Arabia.
Well, yeah, they were looking to go down that route
because they're not so friendly with each other anymore. I mean, they still are, but they've broken away from OPEC. UAE's broken away from OPEC.
The OPEC thing is becoming fractured. It's interesting like that. You would think that under the present circumstances that would not be the case, but it really has happened that way. A lot of destabilizing, a lot of volatility in the oil business right now. And of course, in the background, always looming, if you push that price up much over like $85, $87, $90 a barrel, all of a sudden, guess what happens? Fracking takes
over,
worth doing. And once you push that number up to close to 100, all of a sudden the Athabasca tar sands
are very attractive.
Well, all of that makes sense. But at $40 a barrel, it doesn't make any economic sense.
Right.
So to those who think we're going to run out of fuel, like that's not going to happen. Will it cost more? Yeah, but I think the volatility, the number at the pump thing. Right now we have a diesel issue in this country. We're starting to see we're not having enough because of the oil that is there. Not all oil is created equal. But now also we have Venezuela's come back.
Venezuela has the largest reserves in the world. The
largest proven reserves in the world, but it's a particular type of oil. It's not well suited to make gasoline out of.
It's a heavier oil. It hasn't been cooking long enough.
It's tar.
It hasn't been cooking long enough.
Yeah.
And then Brazil, they've found a lot off the coast of Brazil too.
Absolutely
so
true.
That's going to be exploited.
More oil fields are being discovered and will be coming online as time goes on. There's no doubt about it.
Exactly. Hey, I got to tell you, we're already at the end.
Yeah,
I got to close out the show. Listen, Tom, thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it. Like I said, it's a time we regret, except for that one Karen that only listens just to be mad at me.
Oh, well, there's always a Karen.
Yeah. Hey, I'd like to thank Jack for his update on the Wisconsin gubernatorial race and Tom Helwig for coming on for the latest updates on the overseas activities which influence our country, whether we want them to or not. And thank you, Eric Clambera, my producer here on All Politics Are Local. Congratulations to Eric, by the way, who was recently inducted into the Local Broadcasters Hall of Fame, which is located at the back desk in the basement of the WCHE corporate office building.
That would be an amazing thing if that happened.
Yeah, and there you go. So be sure to come by. The elevator's not working. It's pretty dark down there, and there's some rats. But if you want to see his award, it's down there.
That would be an amazing thing if that happened.
Mondays and Wednesdays, Eric and I are on the morning show together, and we've been on a successful and progressing revamp of the morning show over the last year and a half, and WCHE's Jingle Department was created a year ago, and it's located in the newly revamped 10th floor of the WCHE corporate building, and by all measures has been a wild success. In fact, we will even write jingles for your business and theme songs for your special events. That's absolutely true. And now our budget isn't big like those Philly stations. Oh, wait. They're still doing massive layoffs, something we haven't done so far, so there's that. But we're always ready for some new sponsors at the station. Bring your local business to the airwaves and our listeners and our social media. We can tailor-make a nice promotional package for you. The Internet is overwhelmed with advertising that people just pass over, so why not try and stand out someplace else? Call Donna Saul, the general manager here at WCHE, and get started today. You can even pick the show. For example, you could advertise on my show.
What kind of a fool do you take me for?
Why, is there more than one kind?
But seriously, radio is an effective way to get to your customers, so you really ought to consider it.
Oh, you betcha, yeah.
Yeah. Local radio has your back. You want to know what affects you, what's happening in your area, right? City radio stations care about city stuff. Worse yet, some shows are syndicated and shipped from someplace like Dallas.
Oh, my God.
Yes, that's absolutely true. That's exactly it. Now, these big radio stations are going all automated, so you're listening to recordings of people that may not even be real people, located someplace you don't know where it could possibly be, at some nameless, faceless robot type thing with no personality, no emotion, certainly someone that doesn't know a lick about where you live.
Exactly right.
What the hell is happening to this world? Support the local businesses and the local grown food. Support local advertisers. They have what you need, and they do care about you.
Exactly right.
Thank you, Samuel Elliott. I think he's starting to have a little bit of Alzheimer's in there. Anyway.
Exactly right.
Somebody get him a sippy cup. Local businesses and your neighbors and your friends, support those that sponsor WCHE. They are our community. If you don't have community, try and go eat at Amazon and tell me how that works out for you. Hey, if you like my show, take the time to send a nice note to WCHE at 953WCHE.com. If my show gives you anxiety, that's right. And a big thank you to Donna Saul, the general manager here at WCHE, who's an absolute gem to work with. She shines like a diamond. You know, we have a very special relationship. I'll never forget the time she said to me,
I know what you're thinking. Did he fire 6 shots or only 5? Well, to tell you the truth, in all this excitement, I've kind of lost track myself. But Ian, this is a .44 Magnum, the most powerful handgun in the world, and would blow your head clean off. You've got to ask yourself one question. Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Yeah, maybe that wasn't one of her better days, but be sure to like and follow WCHE's Facebook page where you can keep up on all that's happening around the town and the county, and you can see the same thing with updates and videos on my Facebook page, WCHE All Politics Are Local with Barry D, and my YouTube channel, All Politics Are Local with Barry D. Listen, today's intro and outro music is from that 70s show, Mary Tyler Moore. If you like the intro, you are going to love this outro. This song was actually called Love Is All Around. It was written and performed by Sonny Curtis, who just died last year. He was a former member of Buddy Holly's band, The Crickets. Curtis released the song twice as a single. In 1970, it came out a couple months before the premiere of the Mary Tyler Moore Show as a single. Wasn't attached to any album. It failed to chart. In 1980, he released a song in a revamped country version, went to number 29 on the country charts. Here's the best part. There's a pretty cool version of the song that was performed by Joan Jett. Her version was released in 1996. Now, it only made it to number 108. That's number 8 on the bubbling below 100 Billboard charts. It's kind of sad because sometimes catchy songs just aren't embraced the way you think they would be. And the final thought of the day, we're having a nice string of weather these days.
Go on out and get some air, fatso.
I'm Barry D for All Politics Are Local. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to WCHE Westchester, 95.3 FM, 1520 AM, and online at 953wche.com.
I'm Mike Hempen with an AP News Minute. Americans unexpectedly cut their spending in July. The Commerce Department says retail sales slipped 0.6% last month from a revised gain of 0.2% in June.